We continue to take a look at elections here in Lubbock and throughout West Texas. We'll get into some Texas 19 news here in a little bit. Joining me in studio right now, another candidate. We've had all the candidates now for municipal court judge, and our guest in studio right now, candidate for municipal court judge, Jorge Hernandez. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, Chad. I am doing great, and thank you for inviting me and having me here. It is a pleasure and an honor to be on your show.
Well, I appreciate you coming in. Tell folks a little bit about yourself so that way they can get to know you.
Well, thank you. I am a law school graduate, of course. I came to Lubbock in 1979 and have lived here since then. I graduated from Tulane University with a degree in history and then came to law school, graduated from law school, stayed here. So I've been a practicing attorney for about 33 years now. I've practiced with several attorneys, opened up my own office back in that's a long time, 1987. And have had my office since then. My daughter, who's also a practicing attorney, is now also a member of the firm. So that's a little bit about me. Now, I've been an associate judge for 13 years in municipal court. That's when Judge Doty appointed me an associate judge to handle magistrations. 4 years ago, Judge Doty also appointed me to handle the juvenile caseload in municipal court, so I've been doing that. 2 years ago, the Board of Judges over at the county courthouse appointed me also as a magistrate to handle their magistrations at the county. And about a year or so ago, I got appointed by Judge Doty to be the senior associate judge. So I'm helping him not only with the juvenile cases, which I do exclusively, but I also help him with the jury and the non-jury trials.
What was it that made you decide to run for municipal court judge?
Well, like I said, I've been a practicing attorney for 33 years. Mm-hmm. So I've been an advocate that long. And since I got appointed associate judge, I got to experience and to deal with deciding cases, hearing cases from both sides instead of being just an advocate. And I found that I really enjoyed that I really enjoyed the fact that a judge, and I got to practice this also, would be fair and impartial. I got to practice, which I have practiced in my own law practice, but also the integrity issue that a judge brings to the bench. And so it was a culmination of things that led me to decide to go ahead and run for municipal court judge.
You have two other opponents in this race.
Yes, I do.
And this is one of those campaigns that not a lot of people really pay attention to because you have the national guys that take up so much of the air out there, but also you've got city council races, and people are maybe paying a little bit of attention to some of the city council races. When it comes to municipal court judge, and with every judicial candidate that I have in studio, it's almost the same thing because it's hard to get sometimes a message across people because it's not like you can comment on maybe future cases or stuff like that.
Exactly. You're right about that.
So what is it that when you go around and you knock on doors and you talk to residents out there, what have you been telling them that separates you from your two other opponents and why they should cast a vote for you?
Well, thank you for that question. That's a very good question. First of all, I would like to say that myself, along with my two opponents, we have the passion to be municipal court judges. I'm not going to take that away from my opponents. They also have the passion. What distinguishes me is, number one, my experience, the fact that that I am the only candidate with judicial experience. I've been doing the associate judge thing for the last 13 years, and I've been exclusively handling juvenile cases for the last 4 years, which I have really enjoyed working with the youth. And one of the things that distinguishes me is the fact that I would like to see municipal court be a little bit more proactive in improving our community. Now, you may ask, how can a court try to improve the community? And they're there to hear cases. Well, we have the opportunity, and I'm pushing real hard for this, to have what is called a juvenile case manager and a diversion program for first-time offenders. It's a real neat concept. The juvenile case manager would help us because, believe it or not, since 2014, I have heard over 1,700 juvenile cases in municipal court, Class C misdemeanors. What I intend to do is try to make sure that we don't have repeat offenders, that the recidivism rate gets as low as possible, and that those juveniles don't become a statistic once they become adults, and hopefully they won't go into our criminal justice system as defendants. So the juvenile case manager would help the court out, acting as an informal probation officer on these cases, monitoring them, making sure that they're complying with all the terms and conditions that have been given to them, and more importantly, helping the court with resources as to how we can help this juvenile and the family at times, make sure that they don't become a repeat offender, whether it's sending them to counseling, if it's a charge for possession of drug paraphernalia, make sure that we have a urinalysis test in the future to make sure that they're not using drugs since they're in my court for that particular charge. And it's a neat concept. Now, the other thing, Chad, is that this juvenile case manager, we're trying to have an interlocal agreement with the county where we provide the funds, they provide the resources. The county has the resources. We have the funds that we have collected through fees on citations. So if we can work together, we can actually expose ourselves to both the juveniles on the municipal court level as well as the JP level with the county. So we'll be exposed to more juveniles and trying to help our community and the kids in that particular manner.
Is that something you've already visited with county officials about?
We are visiting with them. We have visited with them, and we're going to be talking to the commissioners within the next month or so and trying to finalize this interlocal agreement that I think will really help out not just the city but the county of Lubbock, and this is without raising taxes to have this juvenile case manager.
We're visiting with Jorge Hernandez, running for municipal court judge. Before I let you go, I have a couple more questions for you. On your Facebook page, and you have a Facebook page for your campaign, Jorge Hernandez for judge. You're answering some questions, and one of the other, items that you would want to implement, you called a plea negotiation system. Can you tell our listeners a little bit about that?
Yes, and I would like to address two things: the plea negotiation conference and the Veterans Court that I also want to implement. Let me start with the plea negotiation conference. Plea negotiation conference would be a informal hearing between the citizen who has gotten the citation and the city prosecutor's office. What it does, it gets them together before the actual trial. It gets them together, allows them to discuss the case, allows the citizen with the citation to look at the evidence that the prosecutor may be presenting in court. If there's any video, allows them to look at the video, try to help resolve the case, without having to go to trial. If it doesn't resolve, then of course, that's what the judge is for. We can have it. But it's going to help the citizen with the citation in a couple of things. Number one, if it resolves the case without having to go to trial, and again, the citizen with the citation, they do not have to accept any offer that is made to them by the city prosecutor. But if it resolves the case, it prevents the citizen from having to lose time from work, having to lose money, income because of that, having to have witnesses come who are also going to either lose time from work or school, depending on the citation, having the prosecutor call their officers in during their days off, and so helping that aspect. And also, if it resolves it and the officers don't have to come in, that means the city doesn't have to pay them for coming in for trial, and of course that's going to help with the budget. So that's going to help in that aspect. And again, the citizen is not forced to accept any offer. If it doesn't resolve, then of course we'll hear the case. Mm-hmm. And but I think that's going to, number one, reduce and avoid backlog. Number two is get the parties together. This is not a new concept. This is something that's already going on at the county courthouse that is very successful in county court and district court. I just want that same concept to be brought over to municipal court. Now, if I may, let me talk a little bit about Veterans Court.
Sure. Something
that I also would like to implement. Our veterans here in the city, they deserve better than what they're getting. They have sacrificed their lives for our country, and so they deserve better. When I magistrate over at the county jail, I find that some of the individuals, and again, municipal court only handles Class C misdemeanors. Some of the individuals with Class C misdemeanors are veterans. Some of them are homeless. So if we can identify them in court, we can try to put them on a diversion program, get the Veterans Resource Group involved with them so that they can help them out in, number one, getting jobs, number two, getting them off the street where they're sleeping on the street, mm-hmm. and number three, if they have any medical issues, mental health issues, get them to counseling, or if they're supposed to be under medications, get them to start taking their medications. So again, it's a real neat concept that I would like to implement to try to help the veterans also.
We're visiting with Jorge Hernandez, candidate for municipal court judge. Tell folks, I mentioned that you had a Facebook page, Jorge Hernandez for judge. Where else can people find out more information about you, or how can they get in contact with you if they have any questions?
If they want to email me, they can email me at jehforjudge@gmail.com. If they want to contact my website, they can do so at jehforjudge@wibbly.com.
All right. Jorge Hernandez, candidate for municipal court judge. Appreciate your time today.
Thank you so much for having me here. It's been a pleasure, and I've enjoyed it. And again, thanks a lot.